Connectors, what's up? DK here. Hope you're having a good day. Hey, this is a very special episode because I want to introduce you to a new nonprofit organization that I am standing up here in York and York County, Pennsylvania. So this is more for people in the South Central Pennsylvania region, but I think you all like it. So just hang on. Here we go. I got two words for everybody that I think we can all agree on. Hunger sucks. Hunger is a terrible problem. But systemically, there is a larger problem associated with that, and that is poverty. And those two things in combination are something that are really, there's something about this that really drives me crazy. And it's because there isn't a question of supply and demand, it's a question of opportunity and assets and resources. Here's what I mean by this. In the United States, and this has been the course of over years and years and years of studying and has never really changed. In the United States, 40% of all edible food goes to waste. 40%. And of that 40%, half of that is fruits and vegetables. Half of of the 40% that we throw out are fruits and vegetables that we could repurpose just like that. Why does all this stuff get thrown out? Your first inclination would be to think all spoilage and all this kind of inefficiencies of scale and what have you. And there are percentage of that's true. But the larger majority, it's because the food is ugly. Ugly food. Food that has bumps and bruises and weird kind of shaping to it. It's stuff that from a quality assurance standpoint, our food service industry pulls out, or we as consumers select out. We've all done this, right? We've all done if a piece of fruit or a piece of vegetable has some sort of a bruise or a bump or just a weird oddity look to it, we usually pass on it. In fact, most of the time we don't even see that in the store because it's already been QA'd in the back. When the store receives the fruit or receives all the vegetables, they pull out the imperfections and the weird ones and the ones that don't shape nice. I mean, how do you think they make that mound of apples or that mound of tomatoes be so nice? They're perfectly round shaped, ready to go, ready for us consumers to buy. Well, imagine if we took some of that food from the grocery stores, the farms, the restaurants, the bars, the caterers, all the surplus food that we have. Imagine if you're at a catering company of 200 people and you're having a dinner for 200 and 150 people show up. You have 150 people for a 200 person dinner. That means you have 50 somethings of something that are perfectly good. We're being ready to be prepared and go out to a consumer that you're just sitting on. What happens with that? The system now dictates for a lot of us when we're at those things. Somebody starts yelling and screaming, "Hey, let's bring that over to the soup kitchen. Let's bring it over to the shelter." And if you are one of those people, awesome on you. That is fantastic that you're thinking that way. But very often, because of the logistics of the organizations, they may not be ready for that. They might not have the space for it. They might not have the usage in the moment for something like that. The organization I'm standing up will be exactly ready for that. I'd like to welcome you guys to an organization I'm calling YES, the York Empowerment Shop. And what we are doing is we are taking that kind of surplus food from in and around all the farms and grocery stores and restaurants and bars and catering companies all over York and York County, Pennsylvania, bringing it back to a centralized kitchen and then repurposing that food so we can then bring it out to the homeless shelters, to any place that requires food and beverage, places where people are congregating where they need food. If that means street side, we will do it on the street, handing it out to men and women who are in a real tough situation for that. But our idea doesn't stop right there. That alone, taking in the wasted food that we now have as available is one part of the formula. But the second part is just as important, and that is for people. The potential that people have and those that need additional training for a job. I'm talking about job creation. Men and women inside homeless shelters or transitional housing types. Men and women coming out of drug rehab or kind of out of the rehabilitation centers. Men and women coming out of prisons looking for re-entry programs, looking to move their life after what they have done and what they've paid. They're coming back into the community. We want to help these men and women. And one way we can help them is they can first help our community. Coming into our program, using this surplus food, using all the extra food, the donated food from all these restaurants and grocery stores and farms and catering companies and what have you, bringing that food together. Then through a culinary job training program, we're going to teach them the life skills and knife skills that they need to get jobs, to prepare themselves for their next stage in life. So we're going to cover two things while we do this. One is we're going to support the use of this food so we're not throwing it all out. It costs us more than $165 billion a year when it comes to all that food that we're wasting. It's an economic struggle that we have, along with it's just fine food. If I have a tomato and 90% of it is good and there's a big old bruise on it, I'll just take that bruise out. We got ourselves a sauce. But the second part is just as important, is that we are engaging men and women into the idea of work, the dignity of work. Men and women are going to get a culinary job training program, a 14-week program. It's going to be full-on life skill and knife skill, learning how to produce these foods, learning how to work as a team, learning how to support volunteers that will come in from the community, working side by side on the same side of the table, producing nutritious, ready-to-eat food that we can then bring out to our community and support other nonprofit organizations. Because think of this, if you're a nonprofit organization and have any type of F&B budget, that's food and beverage for those of you who don't know. If you have a food and beverage budget and you have to expend a lot of energy on getting food, preparing food, getting volunteers, serving the food, doing food drives, any kind of thing you need to do, when you fundraise, you have to put a certain amount of your money goes to that. Now that may not be your core programming, that may not be the main thing you do, but you have to do it. If you are a shelter and you have heads in beds, you need to serve some meals. The York Empowerment Shop looks to save money for organizations by partnering with one another. We will deliver the food that we are receiving, and you don't have to pay us. Remember that whole thing about there's no such thing as a free lunch? We want to work with our brothers and sisters in the nonprofit sector, and we want to show them that there is another way we can do things. There is an alternate, innovative way that we can bring food and bring nutritious meals to their shelters, to their drug rehabs, to any place that needs food and beverage. But at the same time, we're going to make a commitment to be sure that men and women inside those shelters, drug rehabs, prisons, have the capability to move to the next stage in their life. And that means assets and resources, and that means a place where they can build up the skills to have the dignity of work. We're starting to put out information now, and we're looking for partners, whether we need financial partners, volunteer partners, just good old-fashioned ambassadors and cheerleaders of the concept. I'd like to invite you to our information. It's right here at yesyork.org. We're also on Facebook, and you could definitely check us out right here, facebook.com/York Empowerment Shop. Get more information on it. I am looking for some badass, kick-ass social entrepreneurs and social warriors that are looking to help with this program. If you are in the culinary arts, if you are a chef, if you are a food service industry, front of the line, back of the house, we're looking for your expertise for volunteering and for helping supervise our culinary job training program. If you are in the human services division where you work at a homeless shelter, a drug rehab, if you're in the prison system of York County and you're looking at reentry programs and you're looking at other programs for the inmates as they transition out from prison life into their working life, I want to connect with you. I want to talk about this, and I want to get you engaged in what we're about. We are looking for great warriors. We're looking to use food as our tool to help men and women, our brothers and sisters here in York County and the surrounding area, to move to the dignity of a job, move themselves to a next level of success, and to show them that with the right tools and the right successful plan, it's all about yes. Guys, I'm really proud of this, and I'm really excited about what we're about to do. It's going to take a lot of work, and it's going to take you and your support. And so I thank you ahead of time. I appreciate what you're about. I'm just really, really committed to this idea of no more waste. No more wasted people, no more wasted food, no more wasted potential. No more no's, just a whole lot of yes.
Not satisfied. There's only one choice for you now.
Nonprofit power.